everybody, welcome back to my channel. I was asked by a really good friend, her name is Mel, a really great woman. She asked me to film a tutorial on a modern day Julius Caesar in Rome look. The steps I'm going to teach you, you can use in any production, but basically a classic look that's timeless. Want to learn this look? Thanks guys! Hi guys. So I've already done a little bit of foundation and some brows off camera. First thing I'm going to do is add a little bit more definition and depth to my skin, and the first product I'm going to use is a bronzer. It's a really lightweight bronzer. It's a mineralized bronzer, so it won't sit on the skin heavy and look like dirt. It's just gonna warm up the skin. So I'm just going to dust the bronzer on the tops of the cheeks down into where I want my contour to be. So starting at the very tippity top and blending it down into my contour, and then actually creating a C shape out of that and pushing it up into the hairline as well. And if you're wondering why my hair's like this, it's because I really want the curls around my face and on the top of my head to set and have a lot of volume, because especially if you're on stage doing a presentation, your hair needs to look just as big and as elaborate as your costume does. And even though we want a soft glam look today, we don't want our hair to fall flat. So it's up in pin curls and down my neck, across the tops of my cheeks, down my nose, across my nose, and a little bit on my chin. One way you can really find it is to close your mouth and bite down like you're biting really hard, like you're at the dentist getting an x-ray of your teeth. So bite down really hard, and you can see that it creates a nice divot. That's where the contour is going. And then just at the apple of my cheek, I round upwards, only to accentuate that apple shape and really make it more prominent. Then I'm blending it upwards into the hairline, not downwards, because we want this to have like a nice clean break so that you can really tell where the definition is.
I'm biting down, hugging the apple of the cheek, blending it into the hairline.
And then softly, and I mean gently, very softly, do not do this extreme at all, contour the other areas of your face that you want a little more definition. So same brush, I don't have very much product on it, underneath the bottom lip, starting right in the inner part of where the brow bone and nose bridge starts, just lightly dusting a little bit of color down those sides. Whatever's left can be pushed into the hairline. Then go back to your bronzing brush and blend that all in. I do the contour and bronzer before I powder because I really want it to look like it's part of my skin and set it with powder afterwards. So now I'm going to go in and conceal. I'm just using a really creamy concealer. I'm going to conceal underneath the eyes. And note that I'm not going all the way up to my lash line. I don't want a lot of product pushed up there. I'm going into the hollows where it's the darkest, and then bleeding it down onto the cheek slightly. Not dipping this back into the product because I just want to use whatever's left on the wand. I have a blemish, so I'm going to cover that guy up. Down the bridge of the nose slightly. And this is just a very subtle way of highlighting and bringing some features forward. I'm using a sponge, a damp sponge, so I'm pouncing it and pushing it into the skin. And lightly bringing it back on top of the cheek. If you have a blemish that's really prominent and really annoying, don't use your concealer, just use a little bit more foundation, or if you use a concealer, make sure it is the exact same color as your face. This is annoying, but I'm not going to hassle with it. Normally I would use a concealer that's the same color as my foundation as opposed to using one that's lighter to highlight with, but because we don't want to really highlight our zits on our face, but it's not a big deal. It's the RCMA No Color Powder, and I'm just really obsessed. I think it is amazing. I'm going to heavily powder underneath my eyes so that when I do my eyeshadow, if any eyeshadow falls on my face, I can really make sure that it doesn't get stuck to my skin.
Then everywhere else, I'm not going to bake or cook or heavily set it. I'm just going to lightly dust it.
The first color I'm going in with is going to be a light, like butterscotch color, right here. Raising my eyebrows so the skin is nice and taut. As you can see, I'm actually rocking the brush flat, then at a 45, then at a 90, then I'm over directing it and going upwards. That's just going to make sure that it's blended really well all the way up to that brow bone. Okay, a small baby sister to the brush I was just using. I'm going in with a warm chocolate brown. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, but instead of really blending it out, I'm going to keep it right to my crease or my socket bone. So I'm hugging that bone right here. I'm starting in the center, and I'm just bleeding it inwards and then outwards and really not going too far out. Then go back to your trusty fluffy brush and blend it out. Okay, switched brushes. The other brush was actually a little bit scratchy, so I just switched brushes more for comfort. White-haired brushes are more porous, so they're also going to pick up a little bit of product as they go, as they blend. So that's a good tip if you feel like you got your makeup a little too heavy. Use a white brush and it will pick up a little bit of the product. Use a white or soft, like vanilla color. I'm going to mix the vanilla and a brulee color together. And these are all matte shades, they're not shimmery. And I'm packing that on the lid right underneath that dark color, just to get the eyelid nice and light. Just blend it out one more time. Okay, that's a very soft, basic look. Now with your flat shader brush, go in with your lightest color that you used first and push that underneath the lower lash line. I'm holding the brush very flat, softly dusting it underneath that lower lash line. Now go into the second color that you used, that warm chocolate color, and do the same thing, but instead of doing it flat, go in more at an angle so it's a little bit more precise. So that color that you put on first is a little bit more feathered out and soft, and this one's a little bit more precise. So change the angle so it's a little bit more straight on. So you're creating a liner with this. And for production, this is a great technique to do. If you're using a lot of creams underneath the eyes, they're going to move and bleed out a little bit more. So use powders because they won't bleed out as much. The only thing I'm going to do now is take that dark chocolatey brown color and just create a little hook that's connecting these two colors together. So same brush, I'm just creating a little hook to make those two colors touch. And then on that outside corner, I'm just gonna blend a little bit of the color downwards and inwards to the eye. Creating that little hook, bringing it upwards, then bleeding it inwards. and then blending out and bringing it inwards again. If you are in a production, you do need a little bit of color on your cheeks. So I always go for something that's more of a peachy orangey base tone. Like I said, warm colors or orange tones tend to look good on almost every skin tone. So I'm using something that's a little bit orange. It seems kind of scary in the pan, but it does look very nice and looks like you have a flush of color on your cheeks. So I'm using an angled brush, and I'm going to hug that cheekbone contour that we created. So you can smile to find the apple of your cheek, but once you're applying the blush, don't smile, and just press it into the cheek and follow that contour that we created. Color, dust some down your nose, blend it into your contour around your hairline, and dust a little bit down your neck. What that's going to ensure is that all the colors on your skin look like you and look like they're part of your skin and your face. Then go back to your fluffy brush and very softly blend that in. As you're doing that, you're going to dust away any extra powder that's underneath your eyes. And then powder the rest of your face with a very lightweight powder. Don't forget your neck and up your nose. Voila, that's done. Now I'm going to very strategically place a little bit of shimmer highlight. And I say strategically because nowadays highlight is on fleek. Everybody wants highlight, everybody wants to look shimmery and glowy and dewy. Well, on stage that translates as sweaty and shiny. So we don't want that, but we do want a little tiny bit of highlight. So I'm just dusting a little bit of a light white gold and a champagne color together. And I'm going to squeeze my brush and just very lightly touch the tops of the cheeks, the bridge and tip of the nose, a little tiny bit on the cupid's bow, and a little bit above the brow bone. What's left can go on your neck. A red lip pencil, and I hold my finger at the end so that I can really anchor it and be very precise. I hold the pencil flat against the lip, and I'm going to draw inwards and then upwards above the cupid's bow. Now going upwards above the cupid's bow just to accentuate the shape of your lip.
Keep that corner very true, so hug the corner and don't go out of the corner shape.
Fill it in, and then we're gonna put red lipstick on. I'm using a liquid lip lipstick because I really want this to stay on. These dry down and really don't move that much. Last but not least, you're gonna use some setting spray and finish the look with some mascara or some false lashes if you really need those. I'm gonna do some setting spray and mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and I did take out my curls as well. I just fluffed them up and kind of finger combed them and sprayed them with hairspray. I did want to give you one quick tip. If you're the bad guy or the villain, there's a couple things that you can do. Instead of packing on the lighter color on the lid, pack on a medium or dark color. It's just gonna make your eyes seem more intense and more dark, and same thing with underneath. Don't do a lighter color, just do 2 medium and dark tones, and then bring that color all the way into the inner corner. It's just gonna make you seem a little more intense. And then on the contour, go ham, go strong, lots of contour. It's going to make you seem like sunken in and a little bit more deviant. So I hope this helps you guys. I'm so excited for your production, and I sure love you, Mel. Bye, guys.